So Mario's 40th anniversary already happened this year. We got the Direct with quite a few announcements. Of course, there's the movie coming next year. There was the Mario Galaxy Remaster. Of course, there is the amiibo being made. There's some merch. But what about Zelda next year for the 40th anniversary? Now, unlike Mario, Zelda anniversaries haven't been as big. Like, I think for the 35th anniversary, we just got a Game & Watch. Like, we didn't even get a game, I think. Or at least, I don't think we got a game for the anniversary. I think we actually did get a remaster that year. But what is Nintendo going to do for Zelda's 40th anniversary next year? Personally, I think they're going to do something. I don't think it's a new game. Tears of the Kingdom only came out 2 years ago, so it's only going to be 3 years at that point. We also got Echoes of Wisdom last year. So a brand new game, I just think is out of the question. I think maybe an announcement for a 2D game the next year, like in 2027, is possible. Although I don't know if they would announce it that soon. But I think what is pretty much a guarantee is we're going to get a remake or remaster or some sort of collection. Because yes, we're getting a new Hyrule Warriors this year, but there's going to be no main series Zelda content that's exclusive to the Switch 2 going into 2026. Like imagine getting a remake of the Oracle games or Minish Cap, or maybe getting an HD collection of the 3DS remasters or remakes, or getting Wind Waker and Twilight Princess as a collection. Because these are all games that have been remastered, at least for the 3D games. But right now there's no way to play them on the Switch or Switch 2. And as we know, most Wii U games at this point, or at least the big Wii U games, are on the Switch with a few exceptions. And one of those exceptions, or two of them, is Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Now, Wind Waker is available on the Switch if you have Nintendo Switch Online, then you have the GameCube. But just doesn't make sense why they would want to have these really great remasters that just improved upon great games just not really be available to anyone, because while these games sold well for Wii U games, they sold well for Wii U games, which means it just didn't sell that much. So all Nintendo would need to do is just make a collection of these, and I know they would charge $70 for it, and for that price I wouldn't get it, but I'm sure a lot of people would, so I think that's a big possibility. And then I think a completely new remaster or remake is definitely in the works. The Oracle games came out something like, I think they came out in 2000, and while they are still very good games, they are outdated now. They obviously are Game Boy Color games, so there was only so much they could do with it. Imagine having either the Link's Awakening art style, the Link's Awakening art style on Switch, I should say, like having that for the Oracle games where you get two games bundled together. Maybe they do more to flesh out actually connecting them. Obviously, it would be both games together. If Nintendo charged like $60 or $70 for two remakes of this, that would be something. But I really think Nintendo would just make a remake of both these games and package them together. I would hope. And I've seen a lot of people say they just do not want a remake because of quote-unquote remake culture. And while I understand that, it's not taking away from a new Zelda game. The next Zelda game is in development now. It takes them years to make. It's not going to be by the same developers as Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. It's going to be another developer working on it. And what I say when a remaster remake comes out, I think it's perfectly fine to be upset about a price or maybe say that one isn't necessary. But I think some people are just so anti-remake that even if it's a necessary remake or something that makes the game more accessible to people, they'll just get mad at it. But the Oracle games, I think, could really use a modern remake, because Link's Awakening is a game I really didn't play much, like when it was only on the Game Boy Color, but then it came out on Switch and I loved it. Like, that was the definitive way to play the game. It took a great game that was on old hardware and obviously very limited by that hardware and just made it a modern game. So doing the same thing with the Oracle games, I think would be an instant success. And then even besides the Oracle games, maybe they don't want to remake two games. But what about Minish Cap? I think it's one of the most underrated Zelda games. It just has such a fun mechanic. And while it is on the Switch through Game Boy Advance, and also I think it has a beautiful art style, I really love like the Game Boy Advance style graphics. I still wouldn't complain about getting some quality of life improvements, maybe some additional content, because I know some people had a complaint that the game was kind of short. And that would just be a really great way to introduce this game to a lot of people. So I think that's a good possibility for Zelda's 40th anniversary. And then another big thing that you might have commented already, because I think it's something that a lot of people are thinking about, is what about the Zelda movie? We know pretty much nothing. We know who's going to play Link and Zelda. We don't know the story. We don't know who else is cast. We don't know what game it's really based on, if it's based on a game, if it's based on a few games. So I think we're 100% getting more information, and they're going to tie it into Zelda's 40th anniversary. Maybe we'll get a trailer, maybe they'll just give us more info. Like, that would be crazy if they had a Direct and just had Miyamoto just show that off, just like with the Nintendo Direct with the Mario Galaxy movie. And then also, I think we're going to get some type of Zelda merch. Obviously, Zelda isn't the name that Mario is. Mario just has merch for everything. Like, we literally have a video where we go over how you could live an entire day using only Mario merchandise. And I don't think you could do the same for Zelda, but Love to get some type of Zelda collectible, maybe some new art books or something. Like we got Hyrule Historia, the Zelda Encyclopedias, Arts and Artifacts, and those are just really nice books. Like for someone who just likes to have physical books of games or media that they like, that can become a big seller. Like maybe they can find something new to make. Like I'm not saying just update Hyrule Historia, even though I think they could probably do that and get a lot of sales, but maybe try to make like some new type of content like that. They'll probably make Zelda 40th anniversary amiibo. And I think they actually did that for the 30th anniversary. Actually, they did it for the 30th anniversary because I remember I have some of the 30th anniversary amiibo like on my wall, and I just looked up and it says 30 on it. So I'm sure that's something they would do. And yeah, it would probably be $40, and I don't want to pay that price for amiibo. I'd wait to try and get it on sale. But those were just some really cool collectibles, and amiibo are much higher quality now. I'll give Nintendo credit. They didn't just raise the price and just keep the quality the same. The quality and size of the amiibo are much better. So although I do think it's too pricey, I think it would at least be a neat collectible. So do I think we get anything else for the 40th anniversary? I don't know. I'm sure Nintendo will do something. I don't think it's going to be as big of an event as Mario, obviously. I think the biggest thing we could possibly get is an announcement for a new game that would come in like 2027, but even that, like 4 years from Tears of the Kingdom to the next game. When you look at Breath of the Wild, came out in 2017, Tears of the Kingdom came out in 2023, that's 6 years, so that would be a lot faster. So I don't know, this is all just kind of ideas. I think the big thing would definitely just be the movie. I think maybe having some spin-offs would be cool, because we really haven't gotten many Zelda spin-offs besides Hyrule Warriors in I don't know how long. Like imagine we got like a Zelda Dungeon Maker. We made a video about that years ago, and unfortunately that hasn't happened. Like even just making 2D dungeons, like, I don't know if that's something Nintendo would actually make. I know they've had some dungeon building things in games, so that's why I don't know if they necessarily make a whole game for it. But I think it's at least a cool idea to talk about. Zelda is one of my favorite Nintendo franchises, and I really wish they did more to celebrate the anniversaries. Like 35th, we barely got anything, like I mentioned, like just the Game & Watch and maybe a remake. And maybe a remake. I forgot if that was part of the 40th, or if that was part of the 35th anniversary. Maybe we'll get even Hyrule Warriors DLC at that point, because the new game is coming out, I think in November at this point. I forgot exactly what it is. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you want to see, what you think we're going to see, because I know there's infinite possibilities. Nintendo does do a lot of unexpected things. But if you did enjoy this video, be sure to subscribe and like, as it really helps me out. Be sure to check out my other content, as I have so many other Zelda videos and content on other Nintendo games. This has been Domain with Game Domain. Thank you for watching. The Zelda series has been remade and remastered countless times, but there are just countless games that just feel really outdated. So let's quickly go over which ones need to remake the most and which ones don't. Starting with the original Legend of Zelda, as important as it is historically, I just don't think a remake really works here. Breath of the Wild already gave us the modern version of that freeform exploration. Triforce Heroes is next, and while it was charming on paper, the clunky multiplayer and uninspired dungeons held it back. A remake could fix the online play and also make solo mode more fun, but it still wouldn't turn it into a top tier Zelda. A Link Between Worlds, honestly it holds up great even over 10 years later. The only issue is that it's just stuck on the 3DS, so you can't play this if you don't have the system. Maybe just making a simple HD remaster would do the trick. And as for A Link to the Past, the sprite work is already timeless and you could already play this on Switch. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask both had 3DS remakes, but those are over 10 years old now. Imagine Termina or Hyrule rebuilt with modern tech, more intuitive quest logs, denser world, and 60 frames per second. It's not essential, but definitely cool. Since they are 3D games, I think it definitely could use an upgrade more than something like A Link Between Worlds. Next up is Zelda 2, and this is where a remake could change everything. The ideas were good, but the execution was brutal. Rebalanced combat, smarter NPC hints, and smoother progression could finally make it shine, and could transform the black sheep of the series into a much better game. And we've got the DS games, Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. Both buried great dungeons and stories under awkward stylus controls and gimmicks like the train or Ocean King Temple. A remake here could finally free them from the old hardware and give them modern controls, and also fix some quality of life issues. Now for Minish Cap, it's one of the most charming Zeldas ever, but limited by the Game Boy Advance. A remake could expand its overworld, streamline the Kinstone system, and really push the shrinking mechanic more. And while you can play it on Switch, to really put it in the spotlight and get more people to play this, I think a remake would be a great idea. And finally, the Oracle games. Ages and Seasons are incredible on their own, but linking them together was clunky, and a modern remake that combines both into one seamless adventure with a true epilogue and polished mechanics could make these games even better. Because remember, these games were originally released on the Game Boy Color, so they are very dated by today's standards. Let me know what Zelda game you want to see remade or remastered the most, and be sure to subscribe.